These are the dominant 7th chords with a 13th, a raised and lowered 9th, and a sharp 11 or a flat 5. And they relate to the dominant diminished scale. These are on the 3, 4, 5, 6 string family, and they are on C. So we'll have two different voicings as the basis, and again, they can move in minor thirds, all of these position moves. And the first we'll start with is a C chord, and then we'll do a D flat diminished. The first is a C, E, B flat, and D flat, which is a C7 flat 9. And from there, we'll make a variety of moves. And then from here as well, the D flat diminished, D flat, G, B flat, and E. So if we go back to the C, and if we move the B flat to G, we have a triad with a flat 9, C, E, G, D flat. We can move the G down to G flat. And if we move it up to A, we have a 13 flat 9. That's C, A, C, E, A, and D flat. That's A over C. The A moves to B flat, and the D flat moves to E flat. And we can do any combination of those. For instance, C, E, G, E flat. We can move that to E flat, resolve it to A flat. So any of those chords in any combination are fine. So they all have that potential. And all resolvable in that case to a D, an A7, flat 9 to a D minor major in that case. Okay, now moving ahead from these C major type chords, we can then push on to the D flat. The D flat, G, B flat, and E. And obviously that B flat can go down to an A to make an A7. But the top part can move E to F sharp. And the top voice can also move to E flat to give a dominant 7 on E flat. So D flat, G, B flat, and E flat. So and those are all standard moves. Same with the top voice. Resolving to an F in that case. So if we keep continuing to develop that, we can go back to the diminished 7, we can move the B flat to C. And that gives us a C over D flat, and then we can move the top voice to F sharp. Also the top voice to E flat, which gives us sort of a 13th chord on E flat. Again, movable. Resolving to F or D minor in that case. So we can see, again, moving them in minor thirds, and we can push ahead from that. For example, we can use a voice exchange. D flat, G, and C and E, or F sharp on the top, can voice exchange to C, G, B flat, D flat, and G flat. So it's an exchange. This is all tritones, D flat to G, C to F sharp, and now these are perfect fifths or fourths. So it has, we have that collapsible sort of sound, and in that case resolving to D. So that's, you can see it's an A chord collapsing to a C chord, collapsing E flat to G flat, resolving to an F or an F minor. So that's a typical move. Now, if we have that, we can also voice exchange that voicing. C, G, D flat, and G flat can exchange for perfect fifths, but only to reverse. So in this case, we have a perfect fifth on C and a fourth on D flat. In this, we have a D flat, G flat, C, and G. So we have an exchange between the D flat and C. So this looks like a C over G flat and E flat over an A. Resolving to A flat in that case. And again, movable by minor thirds. Now if we continue that line of development, we can see sixths that are hidden in between some of these voicings too, is in the scale. For instance, if we go back to the original C, E, B flat, and D flat, we can move this E and C sharp or D flat, and we go to a C, G flat, B flat, and E flat, C minor flat 5, going to a regular dominant 7, just moving the sixth within that, or we can keep that on G flat, but we'll move the whole thing. So we have this, so C, E flat, B flat, and D flat, C, G flat, B flat, and E flat, C, G, B flat, and E, C, A, B flat, and F sharp. And this can be moved on E flat. And resolve, in that case, to A flat minor. So that's a move of 6. And again, within the scale, one can continue on and to F minor as well. Again, movable by thirds. Going back to this chord, C, E, G, and D flat, voice exchange, D flat for C. So now that gives us a C triad over a D flat. And this would be D flat, E, G, and C. And that's fairly common. The G can go to A. So we can get the scale quoted inside. For instance, G, B flat, E flat, and G flat. So that's like an E flat triad with a G flat on top. E flat to D flat, move it down a third. C triad with an E flat on the top. C to E flat, and then C triad over D flat, A to G. So we have this sort of inner and resolving to it in F for that case. So easy to make into sequences. Also from this, we can move the top. So we have D flat, E, G, and E flat. It's like a pentatonic. So that's an interesting one. If we're just moving E, G, B flat, and G flat goes to E, and the B flat goes to D flat, giving us sort of a minor 6/9, or a minor, yes, a minor and a sixth and a major 7, and then to the B flat, like that. Now, that can be moved in a sequence, and in this case, that those two. So this is D flat, E, G flat, and C, collapsing to B flat, E, A, and D flat. So it's like two triads. And you can hear, in this case, D flat, G, C, and G flat. G flat goes to E, E flat, G, B flat, and E flat. E flat on top goes to D flat. So a diminished scale, sort of a sequence. And again, all of the voicings you're able to do that with. They're fine. For instance, if we go back to this one, so this one, E, A, E flat, and B flat. So that's a G on top too. So E, A, E flat, and G, and the top G moves to B flat, like an E flat over A, all tritone relationship. Move it down by minor thirds, and then resolve. So resolving to a D. To a B minor 6 or D minor 6, either one. So again, very nice. It's an easy one to play as well. And we can stretch that E, A, F sharp, and B flat, going to G. So, and that resolves to a D in that case, or a D minor. So that's another useful one. Continuing on in that vein, D flat, E, G, and C, the E can move, which is a common. Again, whole step, that's sort of whole step. Eventual resolution to F or F minor, that sort of a thing. So that's, now we can use the 6 there as well. So instead of just G, C, and this would be another version of this kind of chord, the dual fifths and tritones. G, C, D flat, and G flat. The top G flat can move to A. So, and also from there, we can move to that chord. So we can move the 6th, again, that 6 chord sound. G, C, D flat, and A moves to G, B flat, D flat, and G flat. That's nice. And that can move to a 13th chord. D flat, E flat, G, and C. It's like an E flat 13, but then when you move the E flat to E, it's a flat 9, and then it's a sharp 9, and we can replace the E flat in the top voice out of the C. So there are a lot of moves to be had that can be had there. Minor resolution. The minor 7ths as well. 4 minor 7ths in this scale. It's the A, C, E, and G flat minor. So we'll take an A minor 7, E, A, C, and G. Go to a tritone at E flat minor 7, E flat, B flat, D flat, and G flat, and resolve to a D minor. So A minor 7, E flat minor 7 resolves to D minor. Move it down. F sharp minor 7, C minor to B minor. Move it down. E flat minor, A minor 7 resolves to A flat minor. Also, there are easy ones like this. A minor 7, or excuse me, F sharp minor 7, E, A, D flat, and G flat. Keep the top 2 common tones. Collapse the bottom 2. E and A go to E flat and B flat. That can move. So that gives you a minor 3rd relationship of the F sharp minor 7 to the E flat, and then E flat to C, C to A, and then jumping off at the A flat in that case. Dominant 7ths as well. An easy one, move-wise, is a regular old D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat, moving to a C7, C, G, B flat, and E flat. Very simple, just a switch. And you can, so that's an easy one in terms of easy fingering. Now, we can also do a top voice movement. So that can be E flat, D flat, G, B flat, and E flat. Top voice moves to G flat. So, and then the C7, we're reaching in and grabbing the D flat. So top voice, E flat to G flat, D flat, G, B flat, E flat to G, C7, C, G, B flat, E, and then moving the tenor voice, the alto voice to D flat. And then resolving to A flat. And that'll give you a broad overview, just a basic overview of the dominant diminished, some of the possibilities, very easy. I mean, even these sort of triads to leave off on. This is a C7. So this is B flat, G, C, and E, collapsing to the E flat 7, and then moving in minor thirds. So that so this is D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat, B flat, G, C, and E, moving up then to the next one, E, B flat, D flat, and G flat, and then moving to E flat. So D flat, B flat, E flat, and G to give you all the possibilities there, and then just resolving to the B chord. So that will give you a broad overview, again, of the 3, 4, 5, 6 string family, the dominant 13 with a sharp 11, flat 5, and a sharp 9 and a flat 9 based on the octatonic dominant diminished scale on C.